This happens typically under the Federal Fair Labor Standards Act, the FLSA. And as most people know, that governs the circumstances under which employers are required to pay workers overtime for hours worked in excess of 40 in a week. So there are exemptions from having to pay overtime if you meet certain tests. The first test is the employee has to be paid more than $455 a week, has to be paid on the salary basis, which means they get paid the same amount irrespective of the quality or quantity of work that they do. And then the last, and the thing that really keeps management side lawyers up at night, is this idea of classification. When can you classify your employees as exempt? And what we're talking about here, they're typically called the white collar exemptions, administrative, executive, and professional exemptions. And be careful when you're considering your workforce, be careful in terms of your classifications. There are many times you're going to have a workforce where the employees at both ends of the spectrum are either clearly non-exempt or clearly exempt, but then you've got a group of employees in the middle, and those are the ones that you have to pay some attention to. Those borderline exempt employees are the ones that you should take a careful look at. What do I mean by that? Well, you have to look at their job duties and determine which of the white-collar exemptions they may fit into and how solidly they fit into it. If you have any employees where there is a close call, you're not really sure, then you'll want to consider secondarily how many hours in a given week that employee typically works. Say you have an employee, for example, who works an average of 60 hours a week. Well, you've got 20 hours of overtime exposure potentially per week. And if you multiply that over the course of years, let's say, you can see where a wrong decision on overtime could be very costly. So take a careful look at your workforce. The Department of Labor has some new regulations coming out that deal with exempt employees. We expect those out maybe as early as the fall. It's a good time to take a look at your workforce and determine whether you've got any classification issues.